Welcome to DataCronies, a Wildstar podcast with your hosts Feii and Yolo Vision. Are you ready for Wildstar? We are.
Everybody, welcome to level 2. Yes, we've progressed yet again on the DataCronies. If you notice, we are coming to you live from our home studio, even though I have not shrunk away my screen stuff, so look at all the pretty stuff as I make it go away. Oh look, there it goes. Okay, so, as you can see, there is a third member, yes, a third member on our couch today. Now, for your Beyond the Veil listeners, you might know this guy. He is Rowan Blaze, as well as a Lone Star Bell in the game for the Secret World, but he also, off and on, has been playing Wildstar. And he is always known as being that very much meticulous, take your time, look at him waving, meticulous, take your time sort of player. So we brought him on because he's not speeding to any race, he's not in any hurry. So we know that last episode we discussed a lot of this starter stuff about our faction that we picked, about, you know, what was the race that we chose and why we chose it. So I'm actually going to turn it over real fast to Rowan and kind of let him tell you who he is, why he likes Wildstar, why he chose the race that he chose, and, you know, give a little bit more information for those people who have not watched Beyond the Veil or have not played Secret World, because he's a real popular guy in that game, and everyone knows who Rowan is. And he also has a special project he does, you know, for video gaming, and he'll discuss that as well. So, Rowan, why don't you kick it off for a little bit?
Wow, I didn't realize I'd have to introduce myself. So I'm Rowan Blaze. That's a pseudonym. I've played video games since I was a kid, but MMOs since about 2006 when a friend got me interested in WoW. Have played a bunch of video games since. I currently am the proprietor of IHaveTouchedTheSky.blogspot.com, where I talk about video games and video game issues and just things that interest me. Right now, I do play a lot of Secret World, but I'm pretty much kind of taking a break from it in favor of Wildstar. It's just, I like the newness of it. I like the way the characters move around, I guess you could say, the game mechanics and what have you, and just really enjoying it with my wife, Scooter. What else did you want me to say?
So what is your main faction that you're playing, or are you equally playing both factions?
My main faction is actually Exile. I have 3 characters already that are Exile, and I do have 1 Dominion player. The character that you see here is my namesake, Rowan Blaze, and he, you know, sort of kind of looks like I do in real life. I don't always do that with characters, but he happens to be. He's a medic and a scientist and an exile human, as you might be able to tell from the video. I have another character named Lyra Sedgeweaver, who is an Orin spellslinger soldier, and another character, Flint Buckthorn, yes. Sorry, he's my newest character. He is a Granic warrior soldier. And then I have another character, a Dominion character, who's Cassian, female, named River Hawthorne, and she is an engineer settler. And she actually, the reason she's half named after my character in TSW, Hawthorne, and but her first name is River, which is is the guess you could say nom de blog of a very good friend that passed away earlier this summer.
Yeah, one of the issues we were actually going to talk on is what is in a name, and you kind of went over it a little bit. It's very special of you to pick that river to name after your deceased friend. Is there any other special meanings in the names of the characters you usually pick, both in this game and or any other game you play? Why Rowan Blaze?
Rowan Blaze. The name Rowan itself is simply a plant name. Just about all of my characters have some kind of plant somewhere in their name. Hold on just a second.
Okay, well, you're collecting that thought. How about you, Mister? Why did you pick Slaya Sweetie as a name for one of your tunes there, Mr. Yolo?
When I used to hang around Justin TV, there was this caster, and her name was Slaya Sweetie. When I saw the name, I said, something as crazy as it sounds, I actually have a notepad of video games of like MMOs and like games like Diablo, and I would write down names of the characters that I would want to put on the characters, and I put that down on the pad, and I've been using Slaya Sweetie and Terra, this game, Wildstar, and also I made a Slaya Sweetie in World of Warcraft.
Oh yeah, is there any? I know a lot of times, like with mine with Ash Hesla, it's based around, of course, when I was in WoW, I had started this whole Ashes line that everything has to have ashes or some form of ash in it. I started out the game as Ashes in Time, which in WoW gave me the nickname, of course, antihistamine. For some reason, they thought it sounded real cute. Oh, Ashes in Time, even though during that time I actually picked it after a Chinese movie, basically Ashes of Time, and I just converted it into my own thing. And then, of course, to honor that tune, which actually became Ashes Rail, when somebody actually turned me in and said it wasn't RP enough for WoW back then, and they turned me in and I had to change my name. So I kept giving that homage, whereas a lot of my other characters in this game, of course, in Secret World, I'm Feii, because I'm Wong Fei Hung, based around another Chinese character, and I tend to pick most of my names after different Chinese heroes in history. Ning Miao is my healer. She was a Shaolin abbot who actually taught in the Wing Chun art to Miss Wing Chun herself. So everything has some form of like Chinese, either movie or historical fact when I pick my names. Is there any like long theme names that you use, Yolo?
No, I just look at the character and look what class they are and try to figure out the name. Like in World of Warcraft, I had a mage called Necromagnus, and because he was a mage, I thought the name Necromagnus sounded great for that character.
Okay, so Rowan, are you back with us?
Yeah, sorry about that. All my names have, or almost all of them, not every single one, has like a plant of some kind in the name. Rowan is a plant, Hawthorn is a plant, Buckthorn is a plant, Sedge is a kind of plant. And that's been a running theme since my first days of WoW. And Rowan Blaze actually was a female human priest, and I took her all the way to 80 and was raiding with her in Wrath of the Lich King. And because I was online, on Ventrilo raiding, people just referred to me as my character name, and so it kind of became my name. And when I started a blog a couple of years later, that's the name I used.
So now I know that you're, I Have Touched the Sky. Exactly why did you pick that as your name of your blog? Any particular meaning?
Yeah, actually, when I started blogging, I was just starting to play Star Trek Online, and I Have Touched the Sky is the second part of a title from a Star Trek The Original Series episode called For the World is Hollow and I Have Touched the Sky. Which is a reference to things not being as, first of all, not being as they seem, but also things not being the way they taught us in our youth. So it's also a bit of a skeptical, I guess you could say, a skeptical term. I've touched the sky. It's not this distant thing.
Cool. Okay, while I'm setting up to discuss our next topic here, I'm going to go back out to the starter screen, because we're going to go over the different classes in this game, as well as the different paths, which I understand, as we discussed, that you actually discussed that on your blog today, so I definitely will have a link to your blog so people can read your thoughts and opinions, as well as hear them here tonight. But while I'm setting that up, I'd kind of like to get to know what drew you into Wildstar, and what sort of path have you been taking, not your actual path, but in your leveling process. Has it been strictly through questing? Have you enjoyed any of the starter zones any better than any of the others? Just discuss while I'm getting this set up.
I've played, I think, 3 of the 4 big starter zones. I played the Celestion Forest on this character, and have just moved past that into Galeras. And on my other 2 exile characters, I've been playing in Algarok, which is actually my favorite of the 3. And then on the Dominion side, I was playing in Daradoon before I started, kind of taking a break from that character.
So, what have you enjoyed out of Wildstar so far? That's what's actually strikes you a little bit different? Because I know obviously it's any MMO hits, it's going to be a WoW clone. Everyone's going to say it's going to be a WoW clone. Whether it is or it isn't. Is there anything? What is different to you about Wildstar thus far?
Quite a bit, actually. It does have some sensibilities that it's almost like WoW turned up to 11 in terms of the irreverence, if you will. Like when you level and stuff, you get the voiceover that's wow, you're just really awesome, aren't you? But there's an undercurrent of sarcasm to it. And then, of course, the when you die and resurrect, the sardonic voice that's just like, "Aren't you special? Now get out of my face," kind of stuff. That's entertaining. There are some people that are really annoyed by it, but I happen to like it. Believe it or not, it's a really minor thing, but I thought it was really cool the first time I realized that the water in Wildstar has a current. You can be swept along by it. You have to fight against it if you're swimming across. And I thought that was really cool. Something where most other places, if there's water at all, it's really it's almost just walking through air. It's just that it's a different, it looks different, but it doesn't. But in terms of what I've been enjoying, I'm honestly, I don't know. It's pretty much similar to other games in that sense. I do like the combat mechanic with the telegraphs, and it's very kinetic, but I wouldn't say that that's necessarily unusual either. Guild Wars 2 and TSW itself are both fairly kinetic combat systems.
Now, I know in Secret World, you have been, of course, big one into the lore, because a lot of it's based around what is considered true lore. How do you find the lore in this game when you go and you read the different datacrons or the different text in this game? Do you find it pretty interesting, the story?
Yeah, it is an interesting story. I like how I do like some of the conflicts of the exiles, for instance. They're not, in some of the advertising, I guess you could say, for the game, they painted the Dominion as this monolithic, kind of like evil, mustache twirling villain, and which I think has actually hurt the population, the Dominion population, somewhat. Whereas, like in WoW, you had the Horde, and yeah, they were supposed to be kind of the bad guys, but they were either misunderstood or just, the bad boys of WoW sort of thing. There, you don't get that same vibe from the Dominion. The Dominion is more like the evil empire, but without the coolness of the Mandalorians. To switch to a different universe. Whereas the exiles, they have kind of like that bad boy look, but they're also fighting for something. It's a lot more along the lines of the rebels, or like the in Firefly, like Mal Reynolds and that kind of that kind of stuff. So I like that, but I do like that neither side is really angelic, so to speak. There are bad things going on, like with the Mordesh and stuff like that. So.
All right. Well, we're going to switch on to the actual topic. Continue on from last week. It is good to hear that you kind of got the same vibe that we discussed last week on the factions. But I'm going to start out, of course. I'm going to use the warrior as the first one. I'm going to read the class information. And then we will kind of discuss if we are playing this, if we plan on playing this, if we're just going to skip this. So let's see. Under the warrior, it reads, when it comes to combat, warriors are unstoppable juggernauts, destroying their enemies with a combination of brute force and deadly weaponry. Warriors solve problems the old-fashioned way, cutting down enemies with their swords and rip-saw shields, or blasting them to pieces with a trusty arm cannon. Now, who that likes to do damage in a game would not flock to this? Well, me, because for some reason, as if you check out the last episode of Beyond the Veil, I like to play melee in that, but I actually like the more ranged classes in this, which we would discuss. So personally, it sounds cool, but it doesn't sound cool to me in the same token. We'll actually let Yolo, you can go. Do you have one of these, or are you playing one of these?
Yes, I have I believe 15 level warrior, but as overpowered as people said they are or were, I get my butt handed to me in PvP, as you well know, Feii.
So, what about you, Rowan? You plan on playing a warrior, or you play a warrior?
Yeah, actually, I have a warrior. That Granick that I mentioned earlier, Flint, is a warrior, and I just barely started playing him this weekend, and he's actually a lot of fun.
Do you find that you're kind of overpowered, like it kind of reads like you should be?
I don't think that it's overpowered. To me, it seems fairly well balanced versus the other ones. Most of my other characters are healers, and so that creates quite a bit of longevity. Where this the warrior, of course, is oriented towards tanking or DPS, and therefore, sometimes I get myself into trouble that I can't get out of.
Alright, so the next one we're going to focus on is an engineer. I happen to know that somebody on this cast right now has an engineer, but we'll read the very small amount of class information that they give us. The engineer utilizes a technological mastery to craft the right tool for any situation, most notably ones where heavy firepower is a necessity. So, this again is one of those classes I don't necessarily plan on rolling. Now, I will give you a hint, I have rolled the other 4, but these first 2, maybe because they seem very tankish to me, and I don't plan on tanking in this game, and that's one main reason I didn't roll any of these. But let's see, let's actually turn to the one engineer I know for sure. Mr. Yolo, why did you pick the engineer as your main that you got the 51st?
Oh, engineers is the most awesomest class in World of Warcraft. Forgive me.
Wow.
It is an awesome class in World of Warcraft. Let me know when we can play it.
Forgive me, everybody, in Wildstar.
So
you know something? I'm going back to you, Feii. I just messed up my cred in real life.
That's alright. Tell us why the engineer in Wildstar is awesome.
Because they have a heavy gun and they kick major you-know-what.
But what about your little tinker toys that you carry around with you? Those, what are they, robots or some weird R2-D2 wannabes? What are those things?
The bots, and to be honest with you, the bots are kind of broken. And to take them with you in a dungeon could lead to bad things happening to you and your group.
Yeah, I do notice that, don't they sometimes go off and just kind of fight their own fights?
Yeah, they pull everything in their path and bring it back to the group and wipes the group.
Alright, Mr. Rowan, do you have one of these, or are interested or not interested in one of these?
Yeah, actually, my Dominion is an engineer, and I do like it quite a bit. I like the little, I like the pets, and the big gun. That's always very cool. It sounds like the pets are a bit like some hunter pets in that other game that we apparently won't talk about anymore.
It's okay. Everyone knows that we are multi-gamer people, so it's okay if a few slip in there. It's okay. But now we're going to turn to the best class. Another class in the game, the Esper, which happens to be my main class, and I'm going to read their information to you right now. Espers are masters of illusion. Of course they are. Attacking their enemies with powerful psychic weapons and projecting inspiring visions to heal their friends and allies. Combat with an Esper is deadly phantasmal dance that torments enemies with their darkest fears before pushing them over the edge of madness. I mean, come on. That is an Esper for you. I thoroughly enjoy this. But there is a certain number of pets that are psychic that if you summon, they kind of go off like the bots do right now, and they'll pull like everything. So you have to be very careful playing an Esper. But as I stated in like one of the first episodes, the whole reason I play an Esper is because it's considered one of the hardest ones in the game to really master, both in the healing and the damage. And I like that. I like the challenge. And it's generally a ranged class, which they fixed recently because, telekinetic strike, which is a main strike that you would use in an Esper, used to be static and you had to stop the cast and it drove people crazy. But now, of course, you can move and cast it. Mind you, it does less damage than it did before. But that's okay because I actually like the fact that the Esper is becoming more of a mobile class. So, Yolo, do you happen to have an Esper?
I think I created one, and after level 5, I deleted it.
Wow. Rowan, do you have an Esper?
Yeah, I think I had one during beta, and then said it was too static. Basically, I was like, one of the things that I dislike about WoW going back is the fact that casters have to stand still, and it's ridiculous. After playing games like Guild Wars 2 and TSW, I don't think I could ever play a standstill caster again.
So I guess it's a good thing that I informed you that they are now more of a mobile character. The only spell that you have to stay static for is pretty much the healing spell with the staff. You have to stay static for that. But other than that, almost everything is mobile now. So hopefully, you'll go back and give the Esper another chance at some point down the line.
Yeah, I may down the line. I think I've got since I have all my characters are below 20 still. I think I need to work on them before I pick another one.
All right, moving on to the medic. Yet again, another light information. It says medics thrive when submerged in battle. Healing those that fight with them and crushing those that stand before them. Doesn't really give a lot of information on medics. Now, I have one of these as well. I'm only level 10, so I couldn't tell you about every single spell and healing and everything else. I actually found that this was my hardest class to level because although it does have healing and you can heal yourself and do damage at the same time, for some reason I always found myself even more squishy, yet they gave the medic medium armor and the Esper has light armor. So I don't know. Has anyone else had... I'll open this up to either one of you can talk. If you have a medic, do you find that it's hard to level with a medic?
In PvP, it was very easy for me to level to 1 to, I believe, 20. But as soon as I hit 20, I started doing PvE, and I'm getting my you-know-what handed to me.
Rowan?
Yeah, actually, Rowan Blaze is a medic, and I can't say whether he's difficult to level or not because he's one of the 2 characters that I play paired up with a character from my wife's scooter. I don't find him particularly difficult to level or that he's squishy. But then again, like I said, he's not very high. I think he's 16. I'm looking at him right now.
All right, well, we'll move on to the Stalker. A little bit more information on the Stalker. I have one of these as well. These are generally considered really good in the PvP, PvE. They do a lot of damage, but this is what they say. Stalkers strike ferociously with their claws. Using advanced stealth technology that deal multiple blows to their enemies, Stalkers also use a mix of technological abilities to tactically control the battlefield, leaving a pile of corpses in their wake. Of course, I love the Wildstar intro video to the Stalker. I thought it was really cute, and of course they did a lot of the Wolverine references in it with the schnick when the things come out. And originally I wasn't going to play this because one of my least liked classes in most game is the rogue class, like in WoW. Wasn't my thing to be kind of sneaky and stealthy. But when I played this tune primarily for a PvP tune to carry the Moody Mask, I find it's very highly effective to get that done in PvP. So other than, outside it seemed like, almost does seem like this character is overpowered to me in leveling. And I think that also causes a little bit of drawback when I'm playing this. I like a pretty even mix. I don't want things to necessarily be handed to me the whole time. So either one of you have a Stalker?
Yes, I have one. I believe my Stalker's level 11, and I found it really easy, as you said, to level with him. I was actually able to solo, I forgot that the first two-man boss, I was able to solo him and actually get him down to down to health until somebody helped and killed it, but I really could have killed him on my own. And the only problem is something that I stopped leveling my Stalker was because of the path I chose, and which will remain a secret for now.
Alright, Rowan, did you happen to roll a Stalker at all?
I don't have a Stalker, but Scooter has one and really likes it.
Cool. Do you know why she likes it?
Stabbity stab.
Stabbity stab. Does she like that rogue type of stealthy player? She played a rogue type in Rift and really enjoyed it. But she tended to be more standoffish, more sniper than right up in people's face. But she did enjoy it, and she seems to be enjoying the Stalker. So. Okay, we're gonna move on to the. Continue your statement.
I was gonna say she loves the DPS, so that's a big thing for her.
That's good, and there's definitely a lot of DPS output. Speaking of DPS output, this is a kind of hit or miss one, which is the last one we're going to discuss, which is the Spell Slinger. And it says, the Spell Slingers are steely-eyed guns for hire, using deadly precision and acrobatic agility to put their enemies on the ground. With a lethal combination of hair-triggered pistols and powerful magic, the Spell Slinger is a dangerous foe, blasting enemies with a deadly barrage of bullets, or casting runic sigils that sow the destruction and death. I do have one of these. I actually enjoy playing this one as well in PvP, both in the healing side as well as the DPS side. Of course, because I name a lot of my tunes after the different Chinese stuff, the double guns, of course, is very John Woo, very Chinese Hong Kong action cinema. So I had to roll one of these, at least for that. And this is actually my second highest tune that I will probably level up even higher once I hit 50 with my main tune. So, Rowan, do you have a Spell Slinger?
I do have a Spell Slinger, and I do like her very much.
Is it the hats you get?
No, I hadn't noticed the hats yet.
Well, they get the cowboy hat, and I was thinking,
Oh,
your
I
tune.
I do kind of like that. Yeah, it is the double-barreled. My character, my main character in Secret World is basically a gunslinger, Texan cowgirl kind of thing, and so I do like the kind of the jumping around and the. I just like it. It's a very I was talking earlier about the Esper being not kinetic or being static. The Spellslinger is completely the opposite. There's a lot of jumping around and shooting from the hip, so to speak.
Cool. What about you, Mr. Yolo?
Yeah, I found the Spell Slingers to be cool. I have a level 9 Spell Slinger, and I basically just play with them in battlegrounds, healing, and I thought they'd do some decent heals.
Alright, we're going to switch things up and discuss the final 4, actually a single topic, but involves 4 different things of the night, which is your path. So, we're going to start out here with the soldier, because it's the first in line, and it says, Soldiers tackle combat-heavy missions, gaining access to special weaponry and objectives as they fight across Nexus. Often battling waves of enemies, soldiers will use every tool at their disposal to hack and slash their way to victory. Now, I do have a soldier path on one of my tunes. In fact, it is my spell slinger. And I don't know if I necessarily enjoy the soldier path, because if anyone doesn't know, most of the time you have to find a point, access the point, and then fight off waves and waves of enemies to level up your soldiering. And I have yet to actually seen these special weapons. It may be because I'm still very low. I'm level 14. So right now it just seems like I walk up, I battle a bunch of stuff, I get my points, and that's pretty much it. And I haven't seen any super special weaponry yet. So I don't know if any one of you have taken a soldier much further than, I think mine's like level 6. How about you, Rowan? You have a soldier, you said?
Yeah, actually I have 2 soldiers. That's how much I liked it. Not really. The soldier's okay, and the special weapons, basically it's you touched on the holdouts, where you're standing still basically around some place that you're defending. The SWAT missions, which are what you're talking about, I think, are slightly different. You go to a place, but then in a given area, and it's usually an area that's also, you've got other missions going on. They have a, like a grenade or something like that that's activated with the G key, which is the same key that scientists use for scanning. And basically, it's just an extra weapon that you throw at people. The other thing that it might be describing in the description there is that soldiers, there are like chests just sitting around, and a soldier can walk up to them and open them and access, like a sniper shot that's like worth 5 shots or something like that. And those are actually accessible by anybody, as far as I understand it.
Cool. What about you? Finish up.
No, I was just saying all the soldier has to do is open it, and then everybody in the party can access it.
Yeah, I think I didn't spend that much time actually doing the pathing side of my soldier to get to all the cooler stuff that it sounds like you get with. So, Yolo, you have a soldier in your guys?
Yeah, I have, I think, 2 soldiers as well, but the problem is they all probably under level 5 in their, the soldier path. I actually like kill quests, so the soldier, I actually, if I could go back from science, if I can respect, I probably would go to soldier, because I love the kill quests. That's why I love quests so much and don't have a problem with Wildstar's kill quests, because I enjoy them very much.
Yeah, I did notice one of the first quests you get as a soldier is to go out and kill people. And so it was even better that I made a soldier on the Dominion, so I was constantly killing people just to kill people. But on to Settler. It says, the Settler's mission is to tame the wilds of planet Nexus, collecting resources to construct beneficial improvements for the community at large, bravely facing the dangers of an alien planet for the greater good. Settlers are sure to earn adoration of their companions as they adventure across Nexus. This I do have. This is on my main. I do enjoy the Settler, but I find it's a lot like being what I call the flower picker in WoW, because there's always resources around, and I find sometimes, because I want to give buffs to everybody else in the area where I'm at, or I want to help build a settlement that settlers can go into, I find myself spending a lot of time in game picking up every little thing I possibly can. Rowan, do you happen to have a settler?
I do. I kind of encountered the same thing you did. There's always little things laying around to pick up that may or may not distract you from what you're actually, I should say, your main missions, but it is something that's very much appreciated by the player community, and it seems like the NPC community as well. You get a lot of reputation for all those little flags and banners that you repair.
Yes, you do. I think in Woodhaven, in fact, on the Exile side, I got, my first, all the way up rep because I would constantly pick up stuff and build stuff within cities. So, Yolo, do you have a settler on your arsenal?
Yes, I have a settler, and if I could speak to the resources, I would say please stop laying around because I can't stop picking you up. The resources are all over the place, and it prevents me from leveling because I just constantly just keep picking. I think I picked up one type of resource so much that it actually filled up the bag and had my bag full of resources.
So you had 250 of one resource?
Yep.
Wow, that's definitely...
I've actually done that too.
I thought I picked up a lot, and I do, but I do bypass some, because, like I said, if I was strictly picking up everything in the game, I would not be leveling, because that's all I would do, and I'd be picking up stuff. So we're going to move on to the Scientist, which states, the Scientist has come to the Nexus to study its exotic... I just left Beyond the Veil. I read it as erotic for a second. It's exotic flora, dangerous fauna, and ancient technology, utilizing an upgradable scan bot to scan creatures and uncover lore. The Scientist, living proof that knowledge is power. Now, I have one of these as well. I didn't necessarily enjoy it as much as say, the Settler or the Soldier. But I'll kind of save my rankings until the end of which one I think is, for me, is the best and which one is the worst for me. I did like the fact that eventually you do get to rename your bot. I do like that. And I do like the fact that you do pick up additional lore. I just found that this was probably the hardest, well, not really, pretty close to being the second hardest one I had to level. And now I'm going to throw this one to you, Rowan, because you are a big lore person. Do you have a Scientist?
I do. Rowan Blaze is a Scientist, and I do kind of like it, and I definitely like what you're talking about with the being able to name your own bot. I think I named mine Steve. But it's funny because almost more than the other paths, it seems like the things that the Scientists are doing are things that everybody could do. In particular, you basically have to, in order to finish one of your quests, you have to get all of the DataCronies in the area. Well, anybody can pick up the DataCronies, but only the Scientists know that, oh my gosh, there's one still out there and I have no idea where it is.
Yeah, as well as, there's a starter quest, of course, that involves you to get a Datacron. You need to have a Scientist that can open up a door. So everyone's constantly yelling in the chat, hey, anyone out there with a Scientist want to open this cave door for me? And as well as also the Settler has these robots lying around that the Settler can activate, but you need the Scientist to scan it after it's activated for it to complete itself. And I just thought it was weird that they take both the Settler and the Scientist path and kind of combine them to get something done.
I believe that all of the paths have that kind of synergy where there's two different paths that have to work on some object. I know the robots you're talking about. There's a Settler and Explorer one where the Settler has to build a signpost or something like that, I think. But it's only good for the sign only works for the Explorers. I think there's a Settler thing that it's high explosives, and so a soldier has to come in and detonate them. So I've seen those sorts of things running around.
Okay, Yolo, how about you with your Scientist?
My Scientist is level 27. I'm actually enjoying it. It's my second favorite path. And the things about some of the data cubes, so if they real high up, I can use one of my bots to just fly up there and get it without me trying to do some jumping platforming thing. So it's a really cool. The only problem I kind of have with Scientists and some of the path is that I get to choose out of 3 different things. I believe it's 3 different things where it's a group portal, and I'm still trying to figure out what is the purpose of the hologram? Because every time I drop that hologram, I'm still getting attacked. It's not taking the aggro off of me.
The hologram it won't take aggro off of you if you're already in combat, but if you can throw it, it's kind of like, you remember from WoW, the rogue had kind of like this little distract thing that if it, you could distract the guards or something like that, as long as you weren't already in combat, and that it works really well.
Okay,
Yeah, the target dummies in WoW that you can throw out.
No, it's kind of like the little, like it makes, I can even remember the sound. It's like a little drop or something.
Was it like a ball or something that made smoke or something like that?
Yeah, no, I mean it was literally just a sound that the rogue could do. But the point is that it's something that keeps the guards' attention, but they don't attack it. They're just like, what's that? And meanwhile you're running past or whatever, getting away. But yeah, if they've already aggroed on you and you're in combat, it won't do any good.
Good to know. Good to know.
I guess I got to try that the next time I run Storm Talon's Lair.
There you go.
Yeah, try it. It's actually kind of amusing. I don't know if you've ever looked at the hologram without anything around, but basically it's a hologram of your character, doing the jig, doing the little dance.
Nice. All right. Finally, we have Explorer, which states, the wild frontiers are the perfect place for an explorer. Often traveling to the most dangerous places on Nexus, explorers claim territory for their faction by finding hidden paths, exploring secret caves, and climbing to the tallest mountains. Alright, this is ranked number 4 on their list, and I might as well tell you now, this is not my favorite path. I played Explorer all through beta, and for some reason, maybe it's because I have an aversion in most games to jump puzzles, but I think, that's it. I don't like jump puzzles. Period, point blank. What about you, Rowan? How, you have an Explorer?
I didn't. No, I don't have an Explorer at all, because I kind of knew ahead of time that it was going to be a bunch of jumping puzzles, and that was just not something that interests me.
Alright, Yolo, what about you?
I do have an Explorer. I regret picking that path, and when I explained earlier about the Stalker, I was leveling to 11 and I stopped. It was because of the Path Explorer. I spent like an hour and still haven't completed jumping this, doing one of those jump puzzles. It is very, very frustrating, and it takes up a lot of time if you want to complete.
Yeah, okay, before we sign off for the night, let's get everyone's list in order from greatest to least greatest. I will give you my list first. Mine actually will go Settler, Soldier, Scientist, and Explorer as my least favorite. What about you, Rowan?
I would actually be right in line with you. I think the Settler's the best one, and then Soldier, Scientist, and Explorer last.
Alright, Yolo? Are you stumped? YOLO! Did we lose a YOLO there?
He's still in the channel, so I'm not sure. I did want to...
Okay, well, finish your thought, and then we'll get back to YOLO.
No, go ahead, YOLO.
My bad, I thought I was speaking all this time.
It happens to the best of us. Why don't you give us your top 4, and then we'll let Rowan tell us his thought.
Well, my first one is Soldier. Scientist is second. Third is Settler. And the fourth one, I really don't want to say it because I really don't feel like it should be on anybody's list, and that's Explorer.
Alright, sounds like we are definitely in consensus over the Explorer. But hey, to each their own. If you love jump puzzles in every other game, have at it. You should definitely do the Explorer path. So, Rowan, what were you going to tell the audience?
What I was going to say was, and I'm not the first person that has said this, I'm sure, or thought it, but it would be nice if the paths were less restrictive in terms of, like, you're this from the very beginning. If it had been more like a profession or like a hobby that you could switch from one to another depending on how you wanted to play that day. Maybe you want to get a lot of frustration out, so today you want to kill stuff and be a soldier. Tomorrow you might want to do that jumping puzzle and begin Explorer. And if you could switch it up, I think that would serve the player base a little better than the way it is now.
Cool. Did you discuss that thought in your article on Pass?
I did. It's the article itself is in the chat. I don't know who's listening besides us.
I don't know either, but that's okay. I think the only one who has a chat up would be, either you or Yolo. I actually did not pull my chat up today.
Okay.
But it's all good.
Well, then we have a third person listening.
There we go.
Yay! So I put the link up, and I'll make sure you get the link so that. But it is today's, the 21st of August, post on ihavetouchedthesky.blogspot.com. Called. It's titled "Which Path Shall You Take?"
Cool. Any other way that people can get a hold of you? You want to give out your Twitter while we finish up here?
It's real easy. You've been calling me Rowan Blaze this whole cast. I am at Rowan Blaze on Twitter. I'm also, G+. It's Rowan Blaze, and of course on my blog.
Okay, and you of course are on the same server, Evindra, and you're under many different names as we discussed earlier. And that's actually how we were going to close tonight, was talking about the names, because that's kind of where you go before you create your tune, but we talked about it in the beginning, so we don't have to worry about it. So we are going to sign off, and of course you can hear from us in many different ways as well. You can subscribe to our Twitter feed at DataCronies, or our individual feeds. Mine's at Feii. What's yours, Yolo?
My bad. You actually can visit me by Googling Yolo Vision and see my Deviant Arts art site. And also, I have a YouTube page called Angry Bird TV at yahoo.com.
Cool. And once again, to get in contact with the show or watch anything we have done, we have a whole bunch of different places you can go. We have 2 different Twitch channels. We both have the DataCronies Twitch channel, as well as the Holosuite Media, where you can not only see stuff that I'm playing, but other cast members across the entire Holosuite Media. So you might not see me playing Wildstar. You might see me playing some ArcGage this weekend in the next beta. You might see me playing some Hearthstone, as well as you can also see some of those through the YouTube channel. Just type in Holosuite Media, as well as you can type in DataCronies in YouTube. So until next week, this is Ashezla signing off, and Yolo signing off, and our guest Rowan signing off. So until next time, my DataCronies, bye!
Bye!
See ya!